Now we're just about set for the start of this first game this afternoon. Richie Nye has completed his warm-up pitches, or is just completing them, and Adolfo Phillips is standing just off the batter's box and ready to step in. Plate umpire is Stan Landis. He gets a supply of new baseballs, and he's all set. And so is Dave Van Horn.
Thank you, Russ. And again, good afternoon, everybody. 61 degrees, 87% humidity, and the wind is blowing from right to left at about 14 miles an hour. Adolfo Phillips stands in against the left-hander Rich Nye, and we're waiting for the first pitch of this ball game. Here's Nye's windup. The lefty delivers. It's swung on, a line drive out into left field, into the left center power alley. It's in there. Phillips rounds first. He's going to hold up right there after making a big turn. The center fielder, Don Young, who was pulled around in left center, got to that ball quickly and held Phillips to a single. So Adolfo leads off with a base hit off Nye, and the batter will be Rusty Staub. Rusty's batting .287, a left-hand hitter. Rich Nye making one of his infrequent starts, only his third start of the year. 31 2/3 innings. He has a 4.21 ERA, and his record is 0-3. He has one complete game, no shutouts. Nye goes to the stretch, gives Phillips a look. Here's the pitch to Rusty. It's bunted, first base side. It goes foul. The Staub will make his way back. Phillips returns to first base.
Dave, with the threat of rain here, you know, they say that it will rain later on. Gene Mauch wants to get that man down to second, and hopefully to get him in, to get a couple of runs across as soon as he can, in case this game is shortened by rain.
Game getting underway 39 minutes late. 0-1 the count on Rusty. Here's the stretch. The pitch by Nye. Staub bunted this one foul back into the screen. So now he looks to see what kind of a sign he gets. And he looks to the dugout to manager Gene Mauch. Now he's looking to the third base coach, Peanuts Lowry. Lowry going through his set of signs. Phillips the runner at first. Nobody out. On deck, Gary Sutherland. Adolfo takes his lead. The stretch by Nye. His pitch. Low outside. Ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another good crowd here today. Probably about 10,000, 12,000. A lot of fans, even in the rain, came to this ballpark early. The stretch and a throw to first base. Phillips back in plenty of time. Just a token throw to first by Nye. Rusty Staub has 10 doubles, 2 triples, 8 home runs, 21 RBIs. Low and outside. Ball 2. Count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Series is even between these two teams. 1 game each. Expos winning a dandy yesterday, 3-2. Nye is ready again. The 2-2 pitch. There goes Phillips. Swing and a miss. A throw to second. Adolfo slides in safely. The ball into center field. Phillips trying for third. Young with the throw. Phillips is in there. Adolfo makes it to third. And let's see. He gets a stolen base. A throwing error on Randy Hundley, sending him to third. Rusty is out swinging, 1 away. So there's a runner at third with Gary Sutherland at the plate. A stolen base for Phillips, and he goes to third on Hundley's throwing error. And now Gary Sutherland batting .242. Gary has hit 12 doubles, has 1 home run and 13 RBIs. He's really brought his batting average up on this road trip. Chokes up a little bit on the bat. Here's Nye's windup. The pitch, cut on, fouled high into the air, out of play to the right side, back into the stands. 0-1 to Gary. It's like you were pointing out, Russ, going to be very important to score early in this ball game. The weatherman has told us that there's another rainstorm moving in. Here's Nye's windup. The 0-1 to Sutherland is low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Adolfo Phillips, the runner at third base, with 1 out. On deck is Bob Bailey, batting in the cleanup spot against the left-hander, Rich Nye. Nye delivers. Pitch is cut on and popped up. Shallow left field, going back in the edge of the grass. Kessinger, shortstop, has it. And Adolfo Phillips has to hold third base. It's a big out for the Cubs. Getting Sutherland on that pop-up to the shortstop, Kessinger. In steps Bob Bailey, batting .232, playing first base in this ball game. Nye looks to Hundley for a sign. The southpaw deals, and he's low and outside with the pitch. Ball 1. 1-0 to Bob Bailey. Bob has 23 hits in 99 at-bats, 6 doubles, a triple, 10 RBIs. Outfield around to the left. Phillips taking his lead down from third base. Here's Nye's pitch. Check swing and a strike called on Bailey. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs remain 5.5 games in front of the New York Mets in this Eastern Division. Los Angeles moved into a first-place tie with Atlanta in the Western Division. Here's Nye's pitch to Bailey. Low and in again. 2 balls, 1 strike. Atlanta's playing a doubleheader with San Francisco this afternoon. First game is Juan Marichal against Milt Pappas. They're scoreless after 1.5. Bob Bailey at the plate for the Expos. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Nye. It's taken high. Ball 3. If Bailey gets on, Coco LeBoy will be the batter. Coco on deck. Two outs and a 3-1 count on Bob Bailey. Adolfo Phillips, former member of the Cubs, leading off third. Nye from the windup, his pitch swung on, and a line drive base hit out into left field. The Expos lead 1-0. Bob Bailey comes through. Robert driving in his 11th run of the season. Second hit off Nye. Here's Coco LeBoy. 1-0 Montreal here in the top of the first. 2 hits and a run off Nye. Coco, right-hand hitter. He's batting .255. Takes one inside, ball 1. LeBoy has been in need of a rest and was given one by manager Gene Mauch. Kevin Collins was playing at third base the last 2 days. Coco back in the lineup for this twin bill. Fastball on the knees, inside corner, strike called. 1 ball and 1 strike. Coco looking to Peanuts Lowry in the third base box. Bob Bailey, the runner at first. Cubs have got Willie Smith in left. Don Young pulled around in left center. Coco swings and fouls one high into the air out of play down to the left side. Right fielder Billy Williams. Third base Ron Santo. Don Kessinger at short. Paul Popovich at second base. Ernie Banks at first base. And Randy Hundley the catcher. That's the Cubs setup defensively. A ball and 2 strikes to LeBoy. Nye gives the runner a look. The pitch to Coco. High inside. Ball 2. Count levels, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Expos have won at least 1 game from everybody they've played on this road trip. took a series from San Diego. Line drive. It goes down the left field line. Foul. So Bob Bailey makes his way back to first base. And the count is still 2-2 on Coco. He's a pull hitter. He pulled that ball a little too much. LeBoy waiting. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a foul tip out of the mitt of Hundley. Count is still 2-2. So LeBoy has some life with Bailey, the runner, at first. Coco can hit that ball with power. Pitchers don't like to get that ball up and into LeBoy. He can give it a pretty good ride. Here's the pitch. LeBoy swings, high pop-up, right side. Ernie Banks waves everybody out of the way and makes the catch, and that's all for the Expos. LeBoy pops up to Banks. 5 men come to the plate, and the Expos get a run on 2 hits. No errors. And one error charged to Hundley, the throwing error into center field. 1 man was left on base. And the score, the Expos won, and the Cubs coming to bat.
There's a lot of activity elsewhere in Major League Baseball today. In the National League, Pittsburgh is leading Philadelphia 5-0, playing in the top half of the 5th inning. St. Louis is trailing New York 2-1 in the bottom half of the 4th. The Mets came from behind with 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. They lead that ball game 2-1, bottom half of the 4th inning. Nothing yet on the Giant Atlanta game in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, still a scoreless tie. The Dodgers lead Cincinnati 1-0, playing in the top half of the 3rd inning. Over in the American League, the Yankees got a run across in the top of the 1st, lead Boston 1-0 now in the bottom of the 1st. Cleveland 2 runs, bottom half of the 2nd inning, lead Baltimore 2-0, now playing in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Other ball games: Minnesota at Oakland, Washington at Detroit, Kansas City at Seattle, and Chicago at California. Nothing yet on those ball games. Here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, 1-0 for the Expos. Moving into the bottom half of the 1st inning, and for our first look at the Chicago Cub lineup, the Expos are in the lead 1-0 on a couple of timely hits by Adolfo Phillips, a steal of second, throwing error, and a line single by Bob Bailey. Now we'll see what the Cubs do in their half of the 1st. It'll be Don Kessinger, Paul Popovich, and Billy Williams.
Don Kessinger is a switch hitter. Kessinger first came up with the Cubs his first year in pro ball, which was 1964. He broke in with Fort Worth. Then he came up with the Cubs at the end of the season for 4 games. He was back with Dallas Fort Worth in 65 for 46 games, then came to the Cubs to stay for 106 games. Has a lifetime Major League batting average of .239. Kessinger batting left against the right-hander, Gary Wazlewski. Fastball, low and inside, ball 1. Kessinger is one of the main reasons that the Cubs of last year led the National League in defense, 2nd straight year. Here's the pitch. Taken for a strike, letter high on the outside corner. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-hander Gary Wazlewski, his first start for the Expos. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Kessinger. Gary's appeared in 4 games in relief. Total of 6 innings with the Expos, has an ERA of 3. The windup and the pitch. Taken low. Split the dish, but a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Paul Popovich is on deck. Expos leading 1-0. We're in the bottom of the first. Wazlewski missing the outside corner, again low. And he goes to a full count on Kessinger. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cloudy, windy, rainy Chicago on this Sunday afternoon. Of course, would like to get both games in, hoping for at least one. Here's the fastball, swung on, line drive foul to the left. Count still 3-2 to Kessinger. Joe Amalfitano's in the first base coaching box for the Cubs. At third base, it's Pete Reeser. Gary's windup, his pitch is high and inside, and Kessinger is on. Wazlewski got out in front 1-2, then came back and lost him. Kessinger draws a walk. The batter will be Paul Popovich. So we'll see what the Cubs try to do here, trailing 1-0 in the first inning. Popovich, left-hand hitter, batting .273 with the Cubs after 11 games. He was hitting .234 with the Dodgers in 39 games. Little throw to first base, and Kessinger is back in plenty of time. Jose Herrera not too deep in left field. Adolfo Phillips just a couple of steps around to left center. Staub in right. Here's the pitch, taken high, ball 1. Coco LeBoy is in on the edge of the grass at third. Bobby Wines, the shortstop. Gary Sutherland at second, and Bob Bailey, the first baseman, holding the runner, Kessinger. John Boccabella, of course, is behind the plate. We're down to one catcher. The stretch. Throw to first. Back in time is Kessinger. Ronnie Brand had the middle finger on his right hand. Tip of the finger was cut open by a foul tip yesterday, and he had to leave the ball game. The pitch is low. Ball 2 to Popovich. On deck, Billy Williams. In the event that something would happen to John Boccabella that would make it impossible for him to play, Gary Sutherland would be the catcher. He's caught before. We're going to get some activity in the Expos bullpen. Here's the pitch, taken for a strike. 2-1 to Popovich. Dan McGinn, left-hander, warming up in the Expos bullpen. Kessinger takes his lead from first. There's nobody out. The stretch. A look at the runner and a throw to first, and Kessinger makes his way back safely.
Might point out, Dave, that they caught Kessinger yesterday. Ronnie Brand with a great throw to second base.
Wazlewski with another quick move to first, and again, Don Kessinger is back. The man at the plate is Paul Popovich. The stretch, here's the pitch. Taken high, bounced out of the glove of John Boccabella. Kessinger holds. Here comes manager Gene Mauch now. He wants to talk to Gary Wazlewski. Gary's gone 3-1 on Popovich after walking Kessinger. So they've called timeout down on the field. Mauch coming out there. He'll be joined by John Boccabella, the catcher. And the conversation between manager Gene Mauch and Gary Wazlewski taking place right on top of the hill. First baseman Bob Bailey coming over to take a look. Elsewhere, Pittsburgh 5, Philadelphia nothing. They've completed 4. New York leads St. Louis 2-1 after 3.5. No score in the San Francisco-Atlanta game after 2.5, and it's Los Angeles 1, Cincinnati nothing after 2. Bill Singer pitching for the Dodgers. All right, we're ready to go. Mauch is back in the dugout. Wazlewski has a big pitch coming up here. 3-1 the count. There goes the runner. The pitch swung on and missed. Boccabella's throw to second, and they get Kessinger. does away with the base runner. A fine throw by John Boccabella to Bobby Wine. And Wine was waiting for him.
Boy, Kessinger had a good jump, too. He had a good jump on the pitcher, but that was a terrific throw by John Boccabella and a great tag by Bobby Wine. And for the second straight game, Don Kessinger gets caught stealing.
And there's nothing slick about that infield. That infield's dry. It's covered all night and all morning. The 3-2 to Popovich is fouled high in the air out of play to the left. 1 out and nobody on. Billy Williams is on deck for the Cubs. The Expos are leading 1-0. We're in the bottom of the first. Dan McGinn continues to throw in the Expos bullpen. Wozlewski is ready. The windup and the pitch. Swung on. Popped up. Left side out of play. Back into the upper box seat section. 3-2 to Popovich. Wind right to left. 14 miles an hour. First 2 days it blew directly in toward the plate, then shifted around late in yesterday's game, coming from right field to the left field line. Wozlewski's pitch is outside, a ball. Popovich draws a walk. 2 walks given up by Gary Wozlewski. With 1 out, Popovich is on, and the batter will be Billy Williams. Billy Williams is hitting .298. Among his 78 hits, 15 doubles, 4 triples, 8 home runs, 38 RBIs. Billy Williams is appearing in his 887th straight game today. He has not missed a game since September 21st of 1963. He's going after Musial's record. The first pitch, low and outside, a ball. Musial's record is 895 consecutive games. That's best in the National League. Williams should break that record 1 week from today. They have a big day planned here at Wrigley Field for him. It's going to be Billy Williams Day. Left-hand hitter, Popovich leading off first. The pitch to Williams, swung on, bounced foul, just off the end of the Expos dugout. One ball and 1 strike to Williams. The Cubs' third baseman, Ron Santo, is on deck. They've got Williams played deep and a few steps around to the right. Wozlewski to the stretch. The pitch, swung on, and a high fly ball down the right field line. Staub going back into the corner. He's in the corner and makes the catch. Trying to get back to first is Popovich. The throw is not in time. He got back safely. Rusty Staub right up against the wall in the right field corner to make the catch. Popovich made it back to first, 2 away. Boy, that was close. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Expos Baseball Radio Network.
A division of Regal Broadcasting. This is WHRL, 103.1 on your FM dial, Albany, New York.
Here is Ron Santo batting .291, right-hand hitter. Santo has 53 RBIs, second best on the club to Ernie Banks, who has 59 and leads the league. Santo is second in the National League in the RBI department. Popovich leads off first. Wozlewski's pitch, a check swing. It's low and outside, a ball.
Dave, Rusty Staub certainly likes to go back against the wall for those fly balls. He did it in Dodger Stadium in that clutch situation when the Expos broke out of their slump. And that one there, he was almost climbing the wall on it.
353 down that right field line, and Staub way back there on the track, almost in the ivy. .1-0 the count on Santo. A look at Popovich. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Fly ball. Right field. Staub holding his ground. Pounds his mitt. Makes the catch. That's all for the Cubs in the first. Well, the Bruins are down. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. The score at the end of one at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Expos won, the Cubs nothing.
We'd like to remind all our listeners in the Ottawa area that there are a number of TRS locations now open in that area for the purchasing of Expo baseball tickets and also for those pro football games August 11th and August 25th. All right, folks in Ottawa, here are the locations. The Colonial Bus Lines at 265 Albert Street in Ottawa. Also, two Miracle Mart locations, 2160 Carling Avenue in the Fairlawn Plaza and 1595 Maryville Road. Now, for the folks in Burlington, at the Vermont Transit Line, you'll find a TRS location. And you know that through TRS, you go there, you buy your tickets, and you've got nothing to worry about. Your seats are reserved for you. You don't have to get up to the ballpark early to buy your tickets. If you want to go to the ballpark early, and that's to take in the fun of batting practice and the sights in Montreal. But you don't have to worry about ticket reservations through TRS, because once you buy them, you've got them. Well, the Expos got out of that in the bottom half of the first inning as Waslewski walked two runners. The first one, Don Kessinger, was caught stealing. A fine throw by John Boccabella to Bobby Wine on the bag at second. Then Paul Popovich walked, and Billy Williams hit that long one to Rusty Staub. And Rusty turned and gave it sort of that forget-about-it look. It looked as though it was going to hit the wall or go over the fence. And then he went right back into the corner and pulled it down.
All set to go to work now for the Expos, Jose Herrera, John Boccabella, and Bobby Wine. On the mound, left-hander Rich Nye. Herrera batting .500. He's 2 for 4. One game with the Expos. This is Jose's second. The pitch is low, ball one. Right-hand hitter. Called up from Vancouver. Real gentleman. Jose right down on the end of that bat, holds it high. Nye winds it up, kicks and deals. Fastball is low. He's behind 2-0. Expos scored a run on 2 hits in the first inning with Bob Bailey driving in Adolfo Phillips, who stole second and went to third on Hundley's throwing error. With 2 outs, Bailey singled to left. Nye pitches. Swung on. A diving stop by Santo at third. Throw to first is in time. Great play by Cubs third baseman Ron Santo. Ball hit hard on the ground. Santo had to dive to his left. He took a hit away from Jose. Herrera's got pretty fair speed. Santo had to pick himself up and make the throw over to Banks at first, and they got Herrera. 1 away. The batter, John Boccabella. John is hitting .140. Be that first week in July before John Bateman comes off the disabled list. Ron Brandt expected to be out for several days. The first pitch to Boccabella is low and outside, ball one. 1 out and nobody on here in the top of the second. These Cubs will be at Jerry Park the 30th through the 3rd. That's next week, Monday through Thursday. A week from this coming Monday. Next pitch is low to Boccabella, ball 2. John, a right-hand hitter, a former Cub. Spent his first full season behind the plate last year. The Chicago Farm and the Pacific Coast League at Tacoma. Here's the 2-0 to John. Swing and a miss for a strike. 2-1. Monday night, tomorrow night, of course, at Jerry Park, St. Louis Cardinals. Nye winds it up. The 2-1 is taken outside. Ball 3, 3-1. Russ, it really sounds good to say tomorrow night at Jerry Park, doesn't it?
Sounds unbelievable, to tell you the truth. Can't believe it.
Of course, there's a welcome home for the club at 12:30 tomorrow, Place Ville-Marie in downtown Montreal. Boccabella fouls one high into the air, out of play to the right, way up into the upper deck. A full count to John. Phillies are at Jarry Park next weekend for a weekend series, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and double dip on Sunday. Here's Nye's 3-2 to Bacabella. Struck him out. John goes down swinging. Second strikeout for Rich Nye. With 2 away, Bobby Wine steps in. Expos shortstop. Batting .241. 14 hits. No extra base hits, has 7 RBIs. Nye delivers. Swung on, and here's a cracked ball right up just to the right of second base. Second baseman Popovich takes care of this, and Wine is retired. So Nye put him down 1-2-3 with nothing across. I have a feeling that might have stung the hands of Bobby Wine a little bit. Crack of that bat resounded around this ballpark. Nothing across. The score at the end of 1.5 remains. Montreal 1, Chicago nothing.
On the out-of-town scoreboard, the Mets have taken a 5-1 lead over St. Louis, playing in the bottom half of the 5th inning. They scored 3 more runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning, after taking a 2-1 lead with a pair of runs in the bottom of the 3rd. The Giants are leading Atlanta 1-0 in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Pittsburgh still out in front 5-0 over the Phillies in the top of the 4th. Some American League scores in. The Yankees have scored a run in the 1st, also in the 2nd inning, and they lead the Red Sox 2-0, now playing in the bottom half of the 2nd. Cleveland leads Baltimore 2-0. That ball game is in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The first game between Washington and Detroit is just getting underway. That's the story in the out-of-town board. We'll watch these games very closely, especially that Pittsburgh-Philadelphia game, because the Expos are aiming for 5th place. They're still a long way out, but that's the target. Get the Phillies.
The bottom of the 2nd, Ernie Banks, Willie Smith, Randy Hundley. Ernie Banks is batting .271, 65 hits, 108 total bases, 7 doubles, 12 home runs, and 59 RBIs. Best in the major leagues. Ernie Banks has been a Chicago Cub now. Listen to that ovation for him. 17 years. Right-hand hitter. Gary Wozlewski with the windup. The pitch to Ernie is fouled out of play to the right. Strike 1.
Do you think Ernie is popular here in Chicago, Dave?
Boy, I'll tell you, he owns this city. Number 14. Wozlewski delivers. Banks swings and misses. Strike 2. Willie Smith on deck. In the 1st inning, the Cubs got 2 runners on. Kessinger walked, then was thrown out attempting to steal. Popovich walked, and Wozlewski got out of it. Williams on a deep fly ball to right. High and inside, Ernie hits the deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And then Santo flied to right to end the inning. The ball Williams hit sent Staub into the right field corner, just about against the wall. Here's the 1-2 to Banks, taken high and outside. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Struck him out. That is all for Ernie Banks. Strikeout number 1 for Gary Wozlewski. So Banks is through. That's the 39th time that Banks has struck out this season. And here is wonderful Willie Smith, as he's called here in Chicago. Willie is hitting .279 with 17 hits. He's got 3 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, and 11 RBIs. He made history during the Atlanta series with Chicago. On the night of June 10th, he slammed a 500-foot home run off Ron Reed. It was the first ball hit into the upper level in the new Atlanta Stadium. So I don't have to tell you that this guy has got power. Left-hand hitter. Looked at the pitch. It's low, ball 1. Randy Hundley is on deck. The pitch taken outside. Ball 2, 2-0 to Smith. It's the first we've seen Willie in the series. He's right down on the end of that bat. It's 35 ounces. Check swing. Did he go through it? He did. It's a strike. 2-1. Stan Lannis, the plate umpire, says, "Yes, sir, Mr. Williams. You went around on that. You can't fool me in the broad daylight on the north side of Chicago." One out with nobody on. The pitch. Swung on. Fly ball, left field, going back. Herrera can't find it. It's off to the top of the wall, a home run. The ball game is tied up 1-1. Willie Smith, with his 5th home run of the year, his 12th RBI, and it's a tie ball game. 1-1 here in the bottom of the 2nd. That ball hit dead left field, bounced back out. We couldn't tell from here whether it went into the stands and bounced out or came off the top of the yellow rail or just what. But it was a home run and a tie ball game now. Randy Hundley, the batter, fouls one into the netting behind the plate. Strike 1. Hundley is batting .305. In 67 games, he's played in every Chicago game. Catcher Randy Hundley, right-hand hitter. Well, the fans here at Wrigley Field are still buzzing about Willie Smith's home run. Wozlewski delivers, and a bouncing ball goes to the left of Wine, out into left center, a base hit. Hundley will hold up at first with a single. Second hit off Gary Wozlewski. That'll bring the center fielder Don Young to the plate. Young is hitting .244. Played in 57 of the 67 Cubs games and has 6 doubles, 2 triples, 3 home runs, and 21 RBIs. Don Young. Hundley takes his lead off first. Wozlewski has the sign, holds at the belt, the pitch, taken high and inside. Ball 1. Center fielder Adolfo Phillips shaded around toward left center. Phillips now moving Herrera over just 1 or 2 steps, with that breeze now blowing pretty good from the right field wall in toward the left field line. Ball 2 to Young, 2-0. Adolfo just warning Jose that a fly ball coming his way is going to go toward the foul line with that good breeze here. Hundley on at first, 1 out. Here's the pitch. It's taken for a strike right across the knees. 2-1. Sutherland cheated over towards second base. Wine is playing right in the hole at short. LeBoy about even with the bag at third base. The stretch. And a little throw to first base moves Hundley back. 2-1. the count on the batter, Don Young. Expos scored in the first inning, and Willie Smith's home run here in the bottom of the second has tied it up 1-1. 1 out, and Hundley aboard. The pitch taken for strike 2, called 2-2 to Young. On deck is the pitcher, Rich Nye. So Young is a big man to get. Gary is ready. He holds at the belt. Here's the pitch. And it just missed the outside corner. 3-2. All right, now Hundley steps off first, taking a lead. Just about 2.5 steps off the bag. Now he extends it to 3. Wozlewski looks at him. Here's the pitch. A check swing. It's high and inside. He's on. Hundley moves down to second. Young is at first. Runners at first and second with one away here in the second. And the batter is the pitcher, Rich Nye. And again, we're going to get activity in the Expos bullpen. It's Dan McGinn up for the second time. Kessinger is on deck. The Cubs get the tie-breaking run in scoring position. Wozlewski is ready. Gary delivers. Fastball taken for a strike by Nye. 0-1. The infield at double play depth. Outfield is not too deep and pretty much straight away. You got to get this guy out. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Bouncing ball. Bailey has it. Goes to second for 1, and there'll be no throw back to first base. Coming in hard was Don Young, and he upset Bobby Wine. But Young is out as Hundley moved to third, and Nye is on the fielder's choice. Young is out, Bailey to Wine. Young came in hard and took Bobby out of the play, upended him. So with 2 away, runners at first and third, Don Kessinger. He walked in the first inning and was thrown out attempting to steal. Kessinger batting .293. Batting .300 as a left-hander. He's a switch hitter. Nye has donned the warm-up jacket. Takes his lead from first base. Hundley leading from third base. Wozlewski looking to Bacabella. Gary's ready. Bacabella sets the target. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Fly ball right field into right center. Adolfo Phillips is going to come in, and that wind took that ball straight away into center field, and Adolfo made the catch to end the inning. So that's all for the Cubs. 1 run, Willie Smith's home run, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 were left on base. The score at the end of 2, Expos 1, Cubs 1.
Expos hit the score sheet first here at Wrigley Field in Chicago in the top half of the first inning. The leadoff man, Adolfo Phillips, slashed a single to left field. He stole second base, and on the wild throw by the catcher, Randy Hundley, Phillips went down to third. Hundley was charged with the throwing error. Rusty Staub was struck out, and Gary Sutherland popped out to second base. With 2 outs, Phillips on third base. Bob Bailey lined a single to left field, scoring Phillips with the Expos' only run, giving them a 1-0 lead. The Cubs got their run in the bottom half of the second inning when, with 1 out, left-hand batter Willie Smith hit an opposite field home run, a long one, over the left field wall into the bleacher seats to tie it up at 1-all. And that's how the score stands at the moment.
We move to the top of the third here at Wrigley Field, a 1-1 ball game, and it'll be Gary Wozlewski, the Expos pitcher, followed by Adolfo Phillips and Rusty Staub. Willie Smith's home run to left in the bottom of the second, tying the ball game up. Gary Wozlewski. He's 0 for 4 as a hitter with the Expos. That's right-handed. Left-hander Rich Nye on the mound for Chicago. Delivers to Wozlewski. Low and in. Ball 1. And boy, did Hundley rifle that ball back to Rich Nye. Here's the windup. Nye kicks high and deals. Wozlewski swings and misses a high fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. In the American League, New York Yankees lead the Boston Red Sox 2-1 after 2 innings. Fenway Park in Boston. Next pitch is high and in to Gary. Ball 2, 2-1. Washington leading Detroit 1-0 after 1. And Cleveland has Baltimore 2-0 after 6. The pitch to Wozlewski swings and misses a breaking ball. 2-2. We've got a little over an hour to go before the weatherman's calling for more rain. Wozlewski strikes out. Gary goes down swinging. Foul tipped the ball, but Hundley hung on to it. Adolfo Phillips got a base hit to left in the first inning. Stole second, went to third when Hundley threw the ball into center field, and then scored on Bob Bailey's base hit. Adolfo, right-hand hitter. Rich Nye's windup. The left-hander delivers inside. Backed him out of there. Ball 1. The Cubs here at Wrigley Field have drawn over 500,000 fans in 29 home dates. So they're doing very well. Here's a bunt hard behind, right in front of third. Santo up with it. The throw to first is in time. Second, great play by Ron Santo. The ball was bunted hard to the third base side. And Santo backhanded the ball on the line, threw off balance to first to get the speedy Adolfo Phillips. I was just watching Stan Landis. He's told the Cubs infield twice now not to throw the ball around the infield after an out. He wants the ball to go right back to the pitcher. He's trying to keep this game moving. 2 outs, nobody on. Rusty Staub. Ground ball. Kessinger gobbles it up. The throw to first, and the Expos are down 1-2-3 here in the third with nothing across. The score at the end of 2.5, Montreal 1, Chicago 1.
Fans, may we remind you once again that if you haven't ordered your copy of the Expos yearbook, you do it before the season is gone. 68 pages in beautiful color, loaded with pictures of the entire Expos ball club. See your favorite players and action shots from actual ball games. Pictures and sketches on manager Gene Mock, general manager Jim Fanning, and the entire coaching staff. Sketches in all departments of the Expos organization. The Expos yearbook is perfect for obtaining your own autographs. And if you're at Place Ville Marie tomorrow at noon hour at 12:30, then make sure you bring your Expo yearbook along with you. For a copy of the yearbook, send $1.25 to Yearbook, Jerry Park, Montreal. You'll find in your yearbook, in the centerfold, a beautiful color portrait of the Montreal Expos taken down at spring training. This portrait suitable for framing. Yearbook, Jerry Park, Montreal. Before we go to the bottom half of the third inning and the Chicago Cubs batting order, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Expo Baseball Network.
Serving the Golden Triangle of Albany, Schenectady, and Troy. This is the $1 Million Music Sound of WHRL Stereo, Albany, New York.
Going into the bottom half of the third inning here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, the Expos and the Cubs are all tied up at 1 apiece. First man up for the Cubs in the bottom of the third, second baseman Paul Popovich.
Paul Popovich walked in the first inning. Left-hand hitter against Gary Wazlewski. Gary's windup, his pitch is cut on and popped up down the right field line, foul territory. Bailey, first baseman, near the wall now, makes the catch right in front of the box seats off the end of the Expos dugout. That's one away. Billy Williams flied to right, deep to Rusty Staub in the first inning.
Dave, I was just checking the Expos program, the batting order, rather not the batting order, the roster. Here are the players who will be new to Montreal: Ron Fairley, Kev Collins, Adolfo Phillips, Dick Raditz, the monster, Howie Reed, the pitcher, Herrera, the left fielder, and Wazlewski, who is pitching for the Expos this afternoon.
His first pitch to Billy Williams, big swing and a miss, strike one. Well, we are 3-5 against the Chicago Cubs this year here at Wrigley Field, 2-3. At Jerry Park, 1-2. Wazlewski's 0-1 to Williams. Oh, he leaned out, had a few notions about that, but let it go low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Williams looked very anxious. Cloudy, overcast. Supposed to rain here in an hour, so don't go away. A 1-1 ball game. Wazlewski's pitch taken low and outside. Ball 2 to Williams. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wazlewski delivers inside. Ball 3. He is behind on Williams, 3-1. Gary got in trouble with walks in the first inning, walked the first 2 men he faced, but fortunately Kessinger was thrown out attempting to steal. Gary's windup and pitch. Just missed the outside corner. Williams is on with a walk. The 4th walk given up by Wazlewski. That'll bring Ron Santo to the plate. He should get a nice hand. He's made 2 plays in the field that were just phenomenal. Diving stop of a ball hit by Herrera. And a great play on Adolfo Phillips' hard bunt to the third base side. 1 out with 1 on. Santo 0 for 1. Pitch is way outside. Ball 1. Santo hit a fly ball to Staub in the first inning that ended the inning. Gary Wazlewski not having quite the control he'd like to have. Working hard. Pitch is swung on, line drive over Wine's head out into left field. Williams is going to hold at second base. Herrera came up with that ball in left. Williams holds at second. That's hit number 3 off Wazlewski. And listen to the fans. Ernie Banks coming to the plate with 1 out. Santo at first and Williams at second in a 1-1 ball game. Banks went down swinging in the second inning. Again, Dan McGinn, and this is the 3rd time now, McGinn has gone to work in the Expos bullpen. again, the Cubs have got the tie-breaking run at second. Banks, who started the day batting .271 at the plate. Right-hand hitter. The pitch swung on and bounced foul behind Pete Reeser in the third base coaching box. Strike one. Willie Smith is on deck. Some tough men to face here. Williams leading off second. Ron Santos now takes his lead off first base. Outfield deep around to the left for Banks. Here's Wozlewski's pitch. Swung on and popped up. Left side. Bobby Wine has made the call. And the catch. 2 away. Banks pops up. Well, Willie Smith hit the home run in the second, stepping to the plate. Willie hit a 2-1 Wozlewski pitch to left field for the home run that tied the ball game up. He's a left-hand hitter. Gary Wozlewski, the Expos right-hander, trying to get out of this jam. A lot of activity. Dan McGinn, the left-hander. Dick Raddatz, the right-hander, in the bullpen. Smith swings and misses the first pitch. Strike one. He took a pretty healthy cut. All this inning is narrowed down to now is a battle between Wozlewski and Willie Smith now that there are 2 outs. Gary will want to get Smith and get out of this jam. Here's the pitch. It's down low. Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now for Willie Smith, center fielder Adolfo Phillips is playing straight away. Jose Herrera pulled around toward left center a few steps. Right side of the infield is back. The pitch taken wide of the plate. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Well, there's a good sign. Ronnie Brand is catching Dick Raddatz down in the Expos bullpen. Not throwing the ball hard back to Raddatz, but he's able to throw. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul tip behind the plate into the box seats. That evens the count at 2-2. You nervous, Russ?
Kind of. When I watched Willie Smith sort of uncoil with that vicious swing of his, a cold chill went up my spine.
2-2 to Willie. 2 outs. 1-1 ball game, bottom of the third. Now we got a timeout here as Smith stepped out for a moment.
Gary, take all the time you want.
Now we're ready. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and fouled back onto the netting. So it's still 2-2. He's just looking here and could not come up with it fast enough, but I'm trying to think back. Isn't that the second home run that Smith has had against us this year? I may be wrong.
I don't think he's hit any home runs against the Expos this year, Dave.
The 2-2 is fouled high into the air down to the right.
You know, they could use this guy down at Cape Kennedy. He really puts the ball into orbit. That one was knocked a mile out of here.
He gives it a pretty good ride. He had 5 home runs in 55 games last year with the Cubs after being dealt to Chicago from Cleveland. He came up in the Detroit organization back in 1960. His 9th year of pro ball. Willie Smith at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Smith stepping out. This is a real contest between Wazlewski and Smith. They're both trying to keep each other off balance. Guessing. Here's the 2-2. Slow curve swung on, popped up left side. LeBoy calls for it. Now Wine is there, and Bobby makes the catch on the edge of the grass. And Wazlewski is out of trouble here in the 3rd after the Cubs got 2 on with only 1 out. Gary got Banks, and now Smith on little pop-ups to Bobby Wine. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, and 2 Cubs stranded at the end of 3 at Wrigley Field. Expos 1, Cubs 1.
In Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia this afternoon, the Pittsburgh Pirates are leading the Phillies 6-0, now playing in the bottom half of the 8th inning. At Shea Stadium in New York, it's 5-1 for the Mets over St. Louis in the top of the 7th. At Atlanta Stadium, San Francisco, with runs in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, lead Atlanta 3-0, now playing in the bottom half of the 6th. The Dodgers are leading Cincinnati 4-0, playing in the bottom half of the 4th inning. San Diego and Houston just getting underway. In the American League, 2-1 for the Yankees over the Red Sox in the top of the 4th. At Cleveland, 2-all between the Orioles and the Indians, now playing in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Washington leads Detroit 1-0 in the bottom half of the 2nd inning at Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Here at Wrigley Field, a 1-all tie between the Expos and the Cubs.
For the Expos, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. The Cubs, a run on 3 hits, 1 error. We go to the 4th in a 1-1 ball game, the first of 2 scheduled here today at Wrigley Field. And here's Russ.
All right, Dave, first man up for the Expos, Gary Sutherland, here in the top half of the 4th inning. Richie Nye, the left-hander, is all set, delivers. Sudds blips it out into center field. In for it comes Young, and he takes it. A looper into short center field, more toward left center, taken by Don Young. Gary Sutherland is out of there. Bob Bailey, who knocked in the only run for the Expos so far, with a solid single to left field in the 1st inning. Bob Bailey facing the left-hander Richie Nye, replacing Ron Fairley at first base. Nye delivers his first pitch to Big Bob. He takes it for ball 1. 1-0 on Bob Bailey. Outfield playing him deep. Boy, is Don Young ever deep in left center field. Likewise, Willie Smith in left. Bailey single in the 1st inning brought in Adolfo Phillips from 3rd. Expos have had 2 hits, Phillips and Bailey in the 1st inning. There's a high bouncer down to Popovich at 2nd. He can't make a throw, and Bailey's on with an infield hit. Paul Popovich had to move to his right on that high bouncer over the bag at 2nd base, was out of position for a throw, and Bailey was down at 1st with an infield hit. Popovich eventually dropped the ball, but had he not, he would not have been able to make a throw in time. So they've given Bob Bailey an infield hit. So Bailey is 2 for 2. Coco LeBoy. Coco popped out to first baseman Ernie Banks his first time up. Outfield really playing Coco to pull. Fakes a bunt, holds back, high inside pitch. As Nye doesn't want to give Coco anything that he could put down in the form of a sacrifice bunt. This is a 1-all tie, so the Expos would like to get Bailey down in scoring position on second base. Peanuts Lowry coaching for the Expos at third, Bob Oldus at first base. The pitch. Line shot foul in left field near the Cubs bullpen.
Russ, Tony Canigliaro and Rico Petrocelli have hit Boston home runs in the fourth inning, and Boston has now gone ahead of New York 3-2 in the bottom of the fourth for Petrocelli, his 22nd home run of the year off New York starter Bill Burback.
1 out, 1 on, 2-1 pitch. It's high and outside. The count is now 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike on Coco LeBoy. Expos to return home tonight, arrive in Montreal around 11:30 p.m. at Dorval. And then they take on the St. Louis Cardinals, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Chicago Cubs. There goes the runner. The ball's hit past Ron Santo in the left field. Bailey makes the turn at second, is heading into third, and will hold up. Coco LeBoy is down to second with a double. A double down the left field line by Coco LeBoy, beyond the reach of Ron Santo, who's made 2 spectacular plays at third base, but this time Santo couldn't get near the ball. A Coco LeBoy specialty. Coco likes to hug that line with his line shots. And for Coco, his 15th double of the year. Now there's a mound conference. Santo comes in from third. Randy Hundley out to talk to Richie Nye. First base is unoccupied, and Jose Herrera is the batter with 1 out. So we'll see if they decide to put Herrera on. But they'd have to deal with John Bacabella, and Bach's got a lot of power. Submarine ball specialist Ted Abernathy is warming up for the Cubs. Bailey on third base. In a 1-all tie, they don't want to take any chances, so they'll pitch to Herrera. Bailey on third, just a few steps off the bag. LeBoy a longer lead off second, no one holding him close to the bag. The infield is playing in. They'll want to get the runner at the plate on a ground ball. The pitch to Herrera. It's bounced to the third baseman Santo. He whirls around, throws to the plate, and they get Bob Bailey. Well, that strategy worked perfectly for the Chicago Cubs. Boy, Santo made a spectacular play on that high bouncer by Herrera. He turned his back on the plate, turned around, and fired it right to Randy Hundley to get Bob Bailey. LeBoy has moved to third. Herrera's on first. And we've got 2 out. Boy, a great play by Ron Santo. Nipping Bob Bailey. Scoreboard was showing only 1 out for a while. Now they've changed it to 2 away. Bacabella the batter. 2 out. Top half of the fourth inning. Expos with runners on first and third. Richie Nye has given up 4 hits. Bacabella takes it low for ball 1. Outfield playing Bacabella deep. Willie Smith in deep left field. Don Young has moved over slightly toward the power alley in left center. The pitch is fouled up onto the screen and rolls down. 1 ball and 1 strike. The fans out on the left field bleachers have been there since 10:30 this morning. I say since 10:30. We arrived with the club at Wrigley Field at 10:30. and they were already there. So they were probably there since early this morning, and boy, are they ever having a ball. They have a cheerleading section. Swung on and missed for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Boccabella. They have a cheerleading section. They're all wearing yellow hats. Looks like those hard hats. Look like construction helmets.
I think they're still here from yesterday, Russ.
Think they realize yesterday's game is over? But they're a lot like football fans, that crowd out there in left field. Inside to Boccabella, 2-2 the count. They have a cheerleader, and these are cheers I've never heard before. They'll pick out the name of a Cub player and include it in their cheers from time to time. The next pitch to Boccabella, fly ball into short right field. Moving under it is Billy Williams. He takes it. And Richie Nye gets out of that jam with the help of Ron Santo at third base. For the Expos, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left stranded. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning, still with a 1-all tie. Youngsters down to our left holding a sign, Cubs, explode and expose the Expos. Well, the Cubs come to bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning. For Chicago, it'll be the bottom third of their order. Randy Hundley, Don Young, and Richie Nye. Hundley had a single in the 2nd inning. So he's 1 for 1. Randy is hitting .305. And he's the leader among the Cub regulars. Right-hand batter, Randy Hundley. Randy has hit 11 home runs this year. Takes the first pitch from Gary Weslowski for ball 1. 1-0 the count. A 1-all tie, bottom half of the 4th inning. The Cubs are at bat. Weslowski delivers. Randy swings and misses. Boy, he took a vicious swing at that pitch from Weslowski.
Russ, let me correct the score I gave just a moment ago during the break. It is Boston 3, New York 2 at the end of 4. I had New York leading 2-1. It's 3-2 Boston after 4 Fenway.
1 ball and 1 strike on Randy Hundley. Randy has knocked in 38 runs this year. Further score in on that Met game, 5-1 for the Mets over St. Louis in the bottom of the 8th. 1-2 the count now on Hundley. Big Stan Landis takes time out. Dust off home plate. Now we're all set to go once again. The 1-2 pitch is way high, right through the mitt of John Boccabella. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Final score in the American League. The Indians beat the Orioles 3-2. Sudden Sam McDowell, his 9th win of the year against 6 losses. Hall the loser, he's 3-2. Foul right up over the screen, and will roll back down behind home plate. Boy, that was a quickie. That game took 2 hours and 14 minutes. 2-2 the count on Randy Hundley. To be followed by Don Young. The pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. Hundley tosses his bat aside. Weslowski's 2nd strikeout of the afternoon. He got Ernie Banks leading off the 2nd inning. Now he strikes out Randy Hundley. Don Young moves in. Young walked in the 2nd inning. First pitch to him is high, Weslowski's fastball. 1-0 the count. The next pitch is low in there, just on that inside corner, for strike one. Pete Reeser coaching for the Cubs at third. Low this time for ball two.
Tell you one thing, it's getting just a little bit darker here in Chicago, and there are no lights to turn on unless we all light a match at the same time.
High and inside for ball three. Waslewski seems to be quickening his pace up there on the hill. Those first four pitches were quick ones. This one is fouled, way up out of play upstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Randy Hundley. A 1-all tie between the Cubs and the Expos. The 3-2 pitch is high, and Hundley is on with a walk. Pardon me, Young. I said Hundley. Hundley, of course, struck out. Don Young is on with a walk. And that's the 5th walk issued by Gary Waslewski this afternoon. Let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Expo Baseball Network. These are...
When news happens, you'll hear the complete story first on 103.1 WHRL, Albany, New York.
Well, with 1 out and a runner on first base, the batter is Richie Nye, and the guessing is that he'll try to get that runner down to scoring position at second base, because Nye will be followed by Don Kessinger, the top of the batting order. So we'll see what Pete Reeser through Leo DeRocher is calling for. Pitch is hit on the ground, a line. Over to Sudds for 1. Back to first. They've got the double play. Richie Nye bounces into a double play. Hit it sharply to Bobby Wine at shortstop. Wine flipped it over to Gary Sutherland for 1. And Sutherland wheeled around and fired it to Bob Bailey to complete the big DP. For the Cubs, in their half of the 4th inning, no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Fans, don't forget, the Montreal Expos and St. Louis Cardinals will open a 4-game series at Jerry Park tomorrow night. Our advice is to get to the TRS location nearest you as quickly as possible, because there will be big crowds on hand for that 4-game series starting tomorrow night at Jerry Park in Montreal. And of course, people in Montreal can purchase tickets at any of the TRS locations throughout the city. Nice curve by Richie Nye, taken for strike 2. 0-2 the count on Bobby Wine. If you're in the downtown area in Montreal tomorrow, then head over to the Dominion Square building at Peel and St. Catherine. There's a TRS ticket booth in the lobby of the Dominion Square building. Dave, you any idea of Gene Mark's pitching rotation for the series in Montreal? Pull it. Line shot left field. Base hit. And it gets away from Willie Smith. Wine goes down a second. And Mr. Smith will be charged with an error in all likelihood. Not 2 base hit. A double for Bobby Wine down the line in left field. And that's a great way to open up an inning.
Russ, it's all going to depend on what happens today. If we get to play 2 games today, Jerry Robertson will probably be the starter against the Cardinals on Monday night. If we don't get but this 1 game in here this afternoon, why then Mike Wegener will be going on Monday night.
Dave Justy will start for the Cardinals tomorrow night. Jim Mudcat Grant on Tuesday. Bob Gibson on Wednesday, and in the afternoon game on Thursday, it'll be Nelson Briles. Briles, who beat the Mets yesterday with his arm in his bat, hit a home run in that ball game. The pitch Waslewski lays down a bunt. It's foul along the third baseline. The count is 0-1.
I said Robertson Monday, didn't I?
Yes.
I meant Bill Stoneman. Jerry's scheduled to go against Mudcat on Tuesday. Stoneman will go tomorrow, as I say, unless Wegener does not work today. Then Mike Wegener will pitch the opener tomorrow.
Again, a reminder to season ticket holders, your ticket for Monday, if you check your ticket, you'll find out for Tuesday, it says day game. It's not a day game. Tuesday, St. Jean-Baptiste Day, it's a night game. Pop fly. Ernie Banks is calling for it. In fair territory, takes it. Bobby Wine, the runner on second base. Bobby leading off with a double down the line, then Waslewski popped this one up to Ernie Banks. Dodgers and Cincinnati, 4-0 for the Dodgers, bottom half of the seventh inning. The Giants leading Atlanta 3-0 in the top half of the eighth. The batter is Adolfo Phillips. Adolfo has scored the only Expo run. Only 2 runs in this ball game. A home run by Willie Smith to the Cubs, and Phillips came home from third on a single by Bob Bailey. Phillips got on with a single in the first inning and stole second. Moved to third on the throwing error by Randy Hundley. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Adolfo had to get away from that inside pitch from Richie Nye. 5-1 for the Mets over St. Louis, top of the ninth at Shea Stadium. Last chance for the Cardinals. 3-2 Boston over New York in the top of the sixth at Fenway Park. Phillips inside again for ball 2. Boys, skies seem to be threatening right now. I don't see any rain in the area, but the skies are darkening. The pitch is swung on for strike 1. Boy, and Adolfo really lunged at that breaking pitch from Richie Nye. Good news for the Expos. The Pirates beat the Phillies 6-0. Ellis the winner, Billy Champion the loser. Pirates 6 runs on 16 hits and 1 error. Phillies no runs on 6 hits and no errors. 3-1 now to count on Adolfo Phillips. Boy, normally at ballparks, if it was this dark, they'd have the lights on. The pitch into the dirt, and Phillips is on with a walk. Rusty Staub steps in. We have runners on first and second. Bobby Wine's on second. Adolfo Phillips is on first base. The batter is Rusty Staub. Rusty is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Struck out in the first and grounded out short to first in the third inning. Billy Williams playing Staub to pull. He's deep in right field. The pitch to Rusty, swings at a curveball and misses for strike 1. That pitch from Richie Nye just broke away on Rusty. He came right around on it. So Rusty's got an 0-1 count. Bobby Wine in scoring position on second base. We've got a 1-all tie in the top half of the 5th inning. Nye checks his runner at second base, pitches. It's hit on the ground, right side of the infield. Can't get it out into right field for a base hit. Here comes Bobby Wine, and the Expos lead 2-1. Phillips holds up at third, fakes the run to the plate when the throw from the outfield got away from first baseman Ernie Banks. Rusty Staub gets the run batted in. Single. Well, Rusty wanted to pull it to the right side of that infield and got it right past second baseman Paul Popovich for a base hit. Time is called as Joe Becker goes out to talk to Richie Nye, and the talk will be goodbye, Richie, because they're bringing in the right-hander from the bullpen. Well, in the time he worked, the 4 2/3 innings, 1/3 inning, he worked, Richie Nye gave up 6 hits, was tagged for 2 runs. He walked 1 batter. And that was the walk to Adolfo Phillips here in the 5th inning. And recorded 3 strikeouts. And that's Richie Nye's contribution to the Cub cause this afternoon. Expos leading this ball game 2-1 on that fine single by Rusty Staub to right field, bringing in Bobby White from second base. Ted Abernathy with his familiar submarine slant, now warming up for the Cubs. We'll take a look at Abernathy's record. He's got a 4-1, 1-loss record, 1-4, lost 1, appeared in 27 ball games, pitched 41 1/3 innings, has an ERA of 1.97. Boy, that's pretty impressive. And he'll be pitching to Gary Sutherland. Suggs is looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He's 0 for 2. Hitting .242 for the Expos. Staub on first base. Adolfo Phillips on third. Expos leading 2-1. Willie Smith playing Sutherland very deep in left field. Billy Williams has come in a bit in right field, and Don Young in center has moved over toward the left center field power side. Left center field. The pitch hit into right field. Billy Williams on the run for it, takes it. Here comes the runner, Phillips from third, and he'll score. The Expos lead 3-1. Fine sacrifice fly by Gary Sutherland. So give Gary Sutherland a run batted in. And for Gary, that's 14 RBIs now. Rusty Staub has 22 runs batted in. The leader is Mac Jones with 39. Phillips comes in on the sacrifice fly. Expos leading 3-1. Bob Bailey, the batter. That runner, of course, belongs to Richie Nye. And so does Rusty Staub at second base. The underhand delivery is low for ball 1 to Bob Bailey. Bailey knocked in the first Expo run in the first inning, bringing in Adolfo Phillips from third. So Phillips has been on base twice and has scored twice against his old club, the Chicago Cubs. Guess that makes Adolfo happy. And likewise, Mr. Jim Fanning, who negotiated that three-way trade with the Dodgers, allowing Popovich to go to the Cubs. The 2-0 pitch. Fly ball out into left center field. Going way back. I don't know. It's gone. A home run for Bob Bailey, his first of the year. Oh, Big Bob really nailed that one. 2 more Expo runs. And they lead this ball game 5-1. The entire Expo dugout up to congratulate Bob Bailey on his first home run of the year. Well, Dave, we were saying the other day that Bob Bailey was overdue for the long one.
He sure was, and he picked it up at a great time here in this ball game here in the 5th, his third RBI of the afternoon.
The pitch to Coco LeBoy is popped up in the air. Ernie Banks is moving over near the wall, and foul territory takes it. And the Expos are out of there. But in the top half of the fifth inning. They picked up 3 runs, 4 runs on 3 hits. No Chicago errors. And thanks to Bob Bailey, nobody left on. The score going into the bottom half of the fifth inning, 5-1 for the Expos.
The one final first game of a doubleheader. Cleveland beat Baltimore 3-2. Sam McDowell the winner, Dick Hall the loser. Tony Horton and Vern Fuller hit home runs for Cleveland in that ball game. They have another game to go. Washington's at Detroit for a twin bill in the first game, 2-1 Detroit. And I don't know what's happened to that ball game, but we haven't had a score come in on the bottom of that fourth in a long time, and we'll just check the wire quickly here to see if we've had any further word. Well, finally, it's come in, and Detroit did not score in the bottom of the fourth, so they're now in the fifth. 2-1 Tigers lead the Senators.
Bottom half of the fifth inning, and we'll be looking at the top of the Chicago order. Don Kessinger, Paul Popovich, and Billy Williams. Kessinger got on with a walk in the first inning, then was thrown out trying to steal second by John Bacabella. And once the bottom of the fifth is over, it becomes an official ball game. That rain should come and cancel out the rest of it, but there's no actual sign of the rain, although skies are overcast and threatening. From our location, I don't see any rain falling. And since there are no umbrellas up, well, you've got to presume that it's not. On the ground down to Sutherland, over to Bailey, and Don Kessinger's out of there. Gary Weslewski still on the hill for the Expos. Gary has given up only 3 hits. The big one was a home run to Willie Smith in the second inning. After that, Randy Hundley had a single, and Ron Santo had a single.
Ken Henderson just hit his 4th home run of the year for San Francisco in the 8th inning. They now lead Atlanta 5-0 with the Braves batting in the bottom of the 8th.
Ken Henderson was the young fellow who was bad news for the Expos, and Dan McGinn in one of those games at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. But the news is good here in Chicago this afternoon. The Expos are out in front by 4 runs. 2-0 the count on Paul Popovich. Popovich walked in the first inning and popped out to first baseman Bob Bailey in the third. Weslewski delivers his 2-0 pitch in there for call, strike 1. Ball 3, outside. The big left arm of Stan Landis. 3-0, and here's the next one. Fastball right down the middle for strike 1. 3-1 the count on Popovich.
Those giant home runs by McCovey and Henderson were off Gary Neibauer, who came on in relief. Claude Raymond now pitching the 9th for Atlanta.
3-1 pitch is high and inside, and Popovich is on with his second walk of the afternoon. That is the 6th walk issued by Gary Weslewski. Billy Williams flied out to Rusty Staub in the first and walked in the third inning. That fly ball to Rusty Staub was right against the wall in right field. And for a few seconds, all of us thought that it was going to go over or against the wall. Staub had to go right back into the corner, pull it down 353 feet away. The pitch to Williams is low, and the count is 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes on Billy Williams. Williams hitting .298 for the Cubs. Billy has hit 8 home runs, belted 4 triples, and 15 doubles. Don Shaw, who came in with some clutch relief pitching, line shot off the glove of Bob Bailey down the line into right field. Popovich makes the turn at second base, will go into third standing up, and Williams is on first with a single. One away. The Cubs have runners on first and third. And the ever-dangerous Ron Santo stepping in. Santo, hitting .291, has been a big hero for the Cubs this afternoon with 3 sparkling plays defensively at third. And Ron has had 1 hit. He's had one of the 4 hits off Gary Weslewski. Ron Santo. Santo hitting .291, has 12 home runs, 53 runs batted in. Oh, Big Gary's got to be careful with Ron Santo. Santo with 1 swing of his bat can reduce that Expo lead very quickly and make it a 5-4 ball game. It's 5-1 right now. And we've got 2 runners on. Paul Popovich at third base and Billy Williams at first. Wasilewski checks his runners, delivers, it's on the ground, down to out past Bobby Wine out in the left field for a base hit. Williams is coming on to third, standing up. Popovich is in to score. Ron Santo delivers the goods. Out past shortstop on the ground, past Bobby Wine into center field. Now we've got the big fellow, Dick Raditz, warming up, along with Don Shaw in the Expo bullpen. And this brings up the mayor of Wrigley Field, Ernie Banks. First and third, the runners. Williams on third, Santo on first, and Ernie Banks is the batter. There's that big hole between short and second base as they expect Banks to pull it. Wasilewski would like him to hit it on the ground. We'll see what happens. Swings and misses for strike 1. The Cubs coming alive. Expos leading this game 5-2 with 1 out in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Banks has hit 12 home runs this year. He has knocked in 59 runs. Crowd cheering for action for a big hit from their hero. Wasilewski looking down at Bacabella. Gets his sign, now checks his runners. The pitch to Banks, line shot, left field, base hit, another run. Santo holds up at second base. And you can make that 60 runs batted in this year for Ernie Banks. Here comes Gene Mauch. With Willie Smith coming up, they most certainly will bring in a left-hander. It'll be Don Shaw, I believe. Shaw, who came in and pitched that great relief job yesterday, is coming in from the bullpen to pitch to Willie Smith. That will be all for Gary Weslewski. Boy, that was a solid smash by Ernie Banks out in the left field. It moved Santo down to second and brought in Billy Williams from third with the 3rd Cub run of the afternoon, the 2nd of the inning. Expos still lead this ball game 5-3, but the Cubs really have a rally going here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Gary has given up 6 hits, has been tagged for 3 runs, and the 2 men on belong to Gary Weslewski. He walked 6 batters and struck out 2. We've got 1 out, so Wesleski pitched 4 1/3 innings.
Now, DeRoche is going to take the left-hand hitter, Willie Smith, out of there and bring a right-hand hitter in, Jim Hickman, who came into yesterday's ball game as a pinch hitter for the right fielder, Al Spangler, a left-hand hitter. So Jim Hickman will come on to bat for Willie Smith. Hickman hitting 194.
Hickman, a big fellow, right-hand hitter, to face Don Shaw. Shaw has completed his warm-up pitches, and we're all set to resume play. So let's see what Don Shaw can do on the hill for the Expos. In the bottom of the 5th, the first pitch to Hickman is low for ball 1. The runners are Ron Santo at second, Ernie Banks at first base. Shaw has appeared in 21 ball games for the Expos. He's getting a lot of work, and boy, has this fellow Don Shaw ever developed into a fine relief pitcher for the Expos. On the ground, oh, a great stop by Coco LeBoy, down at second for 1. Oh, a fine stop by Coco LeBoy. He dove into the dirt and grabbed that one. It seemed like a sure hit by Jim Hickman. Oh, that was a fantastic stop by Coco LeBoy. Santo moves on to third base. Coco was down, flat on his tummy. After stabbing that one, no way he can get Santo. So he went over with a long throw to second base to get one anyway. Racing Ernie Banks. So we've got 2 out, and the batter is Randy Hundley. Banks was erased 5-4, third to second. The pitch to Hundley, hit on the ground down to Gary Sutherland. Studs up with it, over to first, and the Expos are out of this inning. Hundley grounds out second to first. For the Expos, or rather for the Cubs, in their half of the 5th inning, they picked up 2 runs on 3 hits, no Expo errors, and 2 men were left stranded. The score, after 5 complete innings of play, 5-3 for the Expos. Top half of the 6th inning, with the Expos leading 5-3. Jim Hickman will stay in the ball game, play left field for the Cubs. Or rather, right field. Billy Williams has moved over to left. Don Young remains in center field. The batter is Jose Herrera. Ted Abernathy, in relief of Richie Nye, on the hill for the Cubs. Delivers his first pitch, and it's fouled into the dirt in front of home plate. 0-1 on Herrera. The bleacher fans standing up give a fine hand to Jim Hickman. And Hickman also trots over to help some fan who dropped something out onto the field. Ron Fairley was telling us before today's game how he hates to play here at Wrigley Field at times. He said those bleacher rights really give you a hard time. They use you as a target. I'll tell you more about it later. Next pitch. On the ground to Stanto. Throw to first. And Herrera's out. Herrera goes down 5-3. Fairley says the game that they play is to see which fan can get nearest to the batter without hitting him with things. Ron says that he's been pelted with batteries, with all kinds of debris. But he says the game that they actually play is not to hit the outfielder, but to come close. John Boccabella swings at the first pitch from Ted Abernathy and misses for strike 1. Well, I don't know about the throwing of the debris. Of course, that's frowned upon in any sport. Hockey, of course, and the ice, and baseball on the field of play. As long as the fans have a great time. And boy, they're having a great time here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Very colorful crowd. The count is now 1-1 on Boccabella. Boy, you see signs all over the ballpark. The 1-1 pitch was low. The count becomes 2-1.
Tell you, for those of you who have been to Wrigley Field, to give you an idea of how overcast it is here, the buildings that we're looking at, you can't see the tops of the buildings.
Well, a hard hit ball by Bacabella out into left field. It's pulled down by Billy Williams, but Big John got good wood on that one. Long fly ball. Williams didn't have to move for it. He was playing Bacabella pretty deep in left field. Bobby Wine had a double in the 5th inning, and he's up now. Bobby is 1 for 2. Scored a run in that Expo rally in the 5th. They've got a pretty good crowd here today, considering the threatening weather. Had it been perfect, the report was it would have been a sellout. On the ground, past Sano, base hit, out into left field. Wine's second single of the afternoon. He's going to try for 2, and he's in there with his second double. Bobby Wine, a double. Down the line and left. Boy, he's been a surprise, Dave, with that bat of his. Really came through in San Francisco.
Bobby really has. He's been very pleased with his hitting. Manager Gene Mock, needless to say, is very happy about the job that Bobby Wine has done at the plate. And as Gene was pointing out again when we talked to him last night, Russ, remember that Bobby Wine has not played that much baseball in the last couple of years.
Abernathy delivers to Don Shaw, who takes a cold strike 1.
Missed all of last season. So Bobby has really had only 21 games under his belt.
He's been complaining that his shipment of bats hasn't arrived. It's been long overdue from Louisville, the Louisville Slugger people. I said to him yesterday in the dugout, why complain, Bobby, the way those hits are coming off the bat you're using? Don't change it. Count is now 0-2 on Don Shaw. Abernathy looks towards second, delivers the 0-2 pitch, and Shaw strikes out. For the Expos in the 6th inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors by the Cubs, 1 man left on. Going to the bottom of the 6th, Expos leading 5-3.
We'll take a look now at the scores that are just in. It's Boston 3, New York 2, with Boston batting in the bottom of the 8th at Fenway Park, the first of 2 games. The batteries are in on the game out at California. Chicago and the Angels win against McLaughlin. Baltimore and Cleveland are scoreless in their second game after the Indians won the first one 3-2. Pittsburgh scored 2 runs in the first inning against the Phillies in their second game after winning the first one 6-0. The Phils now batting. Those 2 runs came on Willie Stargell's 10th home run of the year.
In the bottom half of the 6th inning, it'll be Don Young, likely a pinch hitter for Abernathy. I say likely. We don't know yet. There's a man warming up in the bullpen for the Cubs. Looks like Phil Regan warming up for Chicago out in the bullpen in left field. So it's Don Young facing Don Shaw. The pitch accidentally hits Young's bat. He didn't want to go for it. Sort of his body went for the pitch, but his bat didn't, but got in the way of that pitch from Don Shaw. Fellow picking up the bat is Gene Oliver. He's been around baseball a long time with a lot of clubs. Strike 2. Fine pitch from Shaw. Oliver, a right-hand batter. We saw him in Montreal. He was in with a number of teams, including the Rochester Red Wings. Inside to Young, the count is 1-2. Outfield playing young almost straight away, with the exception of Phillips. He shaded over toward left field slightly, toward left center field. High and outside for ball 2.
Orlando Cepeda spoiled Juan Marichal's bid for a shutout, hitting a home run in the 9th. The Giants beat the Braves 5-1. Marichal now 9-2 on the year. Pappas was the loser, 4-7.
The 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. A beautiful pitch from Don Shaw, just hooked right in there. Boy, this fellow Shaw has come a long way since about a month and a half ago. Gene Oliver, the pinch hitter, steps in, hitting for Abernathy. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Expos leading this ball game 5-3. 2-run lead, and the fellow trying to protect that 2-run lead is Don Shaw, the left-hander. Don Shaw will go down in history as the first winning pitcher for the Expos. Strike 1, 1-1 the count. He won it in relief at Shea Stadium in New York. What a ball game that was. The 1-1 pitch is taken for ball 2.
Russ, the Mets beat the Cardinals 5-1. Gentry the winner, Carlton the loser. First game of a doubleheader.
Well, that victory could hurt the Cubs if the Expos beat them. Strike. Beautiful pitch from Don Shaw right off the table. It just sank after hitting the front of that strike zone. Oliver didn't like the call, neither did the crowd here at Wrigley Field. Swings at the dirt with his bat. Now he's back in there. 2 balls and 2 strikes on pinch hitter Gene Oliver in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out, nobody on. Don Shaw into his motion, the 2-2 pitch, breaks low, under the knees for ball 3. Full count. Regan continues to warm up, so we'll be looking at Phil Regan, the former Dodger, the fellow accused of throwing the Vaseline pitch. We'll be seeing him in the top half of the 7th inning. Shaw looks down at Boccabella, gets his sign, delivers the 3-2 pitch, strike 3 swinging. And pinch hitter Gene Oliver is out of there. Don Shaw, since coming in to the ball game in the 5th inning, has retired 4 in a row. Don Kessinger, the leadoff man, a switch hitter, will bat right-handed against the left-hander Don Shaw. Phillips not too deep in center field, and Staub is in shallow right field. The pitch, fly ball, center field. In comes Phillips. Can't get it. He traps the ball. Base hit. Adolfo made a fine try at it. Tried to dive and make a shoestring catch, but he trapped it, and Kessinger is on with a single. Well, Adolfo has the book on Don Kessinger. He played him pretty well on that. He came in, luckily that he did come in to play sort of a short center field. On the ground, LeBoy, throw to first, and Paul Popovich is out of there, and so are the Cubs. Chicago, no runs on 1 hit, no Expo errors, 1 man left on. Here's the line score after 6 complete innings of play. Expos 5 runs on 8 hits and no errors. The Cubs 2 runs on 6 hits and 1 error. The throwing error by Randy Hundley. And we've got a new man on the hill for Chicago, right-hander Phil Regan. And fans who have seen Phil Regan pitch down through the years, and those who saw him pitch at Jarry Park earlier this year in the Cubs' visit to Montreal, Notice that he's got a lot of crazy motion. And this is what the batters have to deal with, among other things, is that crazy motion of his. Like he'll throw very quickly, but the ball won't come out so quickly. Next time the Cubs get to Montreal and Regan pitches, you'll see what I mean if you haven't seen it already. All right, Dave Van Horn is all set for the play-by-play of the next 3 innings. Dave?
Regan had some fine years at Detroit, then at Los Angeles, 66 through 68, lifetime ERA of 3.77. Pitch popped up, third base side, foul territory. Santo has it, Phillips retired. 1 away. Rusty Staub, 1 for 3. He'll be the batter. Regan is 7-5. This is his 31st appearance, has a 3.67 earned run average. Expos leading here, 5-3. We're in the top of the 7th. 1 out, none on. The pitch to Staub. Inside, ball 1. Bill Williams in left, Don Young in center, Jim Hickman in right field. Around the infield, Santo at third, Kessinger at short. Second baseman, Paul Popovich. At first, Ernie Banks protecting the line against Staub, this left-hand hitter. Regan deals low. Ball 2, 2-0 to Rusty. On deck will be Gary Sutherland. All kinds of things happening with the Dodgers right now leading the Western Division. They beat Cincinnati 5-0, a 5-hitter by Bill Singer, and San Francisco beat Atlanta 5-1, Marichal winning. The pitch, swung on, lifted high and foul, back to the right.
Dave, that Phil Regan will drive you crazy trying to figure him out with all the twitching, all the movements that he undergoes there on the hill, gives a hitch to his trousers, tugs at his cap, shrugs his shoulders, itches all over.
Got that herky-jerky delivery. Pittsburgh beat the Phillies 6-0. That's good news for us. Here's the pitch to Rusty. Fastball right down the pike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chicago is disappearing right under our noses here, Russ.
You mean the city of Chicago, not the Cubs?
The city. The city of Chicago. The weatherman's doing his disappearing act, and he's taking the whole city with him. This is the first of 2 here this afternoon. Here's the pitch. A change is fouled back into the screen behind the plate. Count is still 2-2 to Rusty. Expos scored a run in the first. Willie Smith tied it up with a home run in the second. It was a 1-1 ball game till the 5th. The Expos exploded for 4 runs on 3 hits, chased the starter Rich Nye, took a 5-1 lead. Cubs came back, got 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and chased Wazlewski. 5-3 here in the top of the 7th. Sutherland on deck. Staub at the plate. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, high hopper. Banks waiting. He gloves it. Flips to the pitcher, covering in time to get Rusty. 2 away. The batter will be Gary Sutherland. Gary is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly that scored a run in the 5th. Bob Bailey's driven in 3 runs here today. Had a 2-run homer in the 5th. Rusty Staub has the other RBI with a base hit in the 5th. Bobby Wine's gone 2 for 3. Bailey is 3 for 3. Here's Gary now. The windup and pitch is low inside, ball 1. Gary popped up to Kessinger in the first, flied out to Young in center in the 4th. Hit his sacrifice fly down the right field line in the 5th. Stan Landis, the plate umpire, giving a little warning over to the Expos dugout for something. Here's the 1-0. A check swing. The pitch is low and outside for ball 2. 2 balls and nothing. I don't know whether the Expos are on Landis, Reagan, or maybe both of them. Swung on, and the ground ball goes
I
to
also
Kessinger.
spoke with
He's up with
Lawrence
it. Throw to
Favreau.
first in time. Well, Phil comes on to log a 3-up, 3-down inning. First time the Expos have been retired 1-2-3 since the third. At the end of 6.5 here at Wrigley Field, Montreal 5, the Cubs 3.
Well, we're moving into the Cub half of the 7th inning. The Expos still leading this ball game 5-3. They got 1 run in the first. Cubs tied it up at 1-all in the bottom of the 2nd inning on a long home run by Willie Smith into the left field bleacher seats. Then the Expos broke loose for 4 runs in the top half of the 5th inning, including a 2-run homer from Bob Bailey. And the Cubs came back with 2 runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Here's Dave.
Williams fouls one over Amalfitano's head in the first base coaching box. Strike 1. Billy Williams, Ron Santo, Ernie Banks. Don Shaw came on in the 5th, replacing starter Gary Wozlewski. Don got a save here yesterday. The Expos 3-2 win over the Cubs. Pitch is cut on and a bounder. Goes to Bailey. Bobbles it up with it to Shaw in time. Whoa, brother. Bob Bailey put himself in front of that ball. No doubt about the fact Bob was going to knock it down, but for just an instant he couldn't find the handle on the ball. Recovered in time to get it to Shaw, who covered first. Williams retired. Well, here is Ron Santo. Santo is 2 for 3. He normally will hit that ball to the left side. Bobby Wine's been playing deep in the hole, and LeBoy over protecting the line. Santo has gotten a couple of hits here today, getting that ball just between second base and Bobby Wine. Pitch is cut on. Here's a ball through LeBoy and Wine. A hard hit ball, a base hit out into left. Santo's 3rd hit of the afternoon. You know he hit that ball hard because LeBoy and Wine were playing fairly close together, and he got that ball right between them. Second hit off Don Shaw with 1 out. Here's Ernie Banks. Well, that hit by Santo brought the fans to life again here at Wrigley Field. Shaw to face Ernie Banks, who's 1 for 3. The pitch is low, ball 1. Banks struck out in the 2nd, popped up to Wine in the 3rd, and then got a hit off Wozlewski in the 5th that drove in a run. One out and 1 on. The stretch by Don. Here's the pitch to Banks. Taken just above the knees, hit the outside corner, a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santo takes his lead from first base. The pitch. Swung on. High fly ball, left field, going back, Herrera. He's under it, and he puts the squeeze on it. And Santo will hold at first base. 2 away. Jim Hickman steps in. He grounded out to Sutherland. Hit into a fielder's choice in the 5th. Takes a strike, 0-1. He hit into a fielder's choice, got on. Banks was at first, was rubbed out at second. Don Shaw is ready. The southpaw delivers, swung on, and it's a 1-hopper. Wine has it to throw to first base in time, and Shaw's out of the jam. A 1-out single by Santo goes down the drain. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left to score at the end of 7. The Expos 5, the Cubs 3. Here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, we go to the top half of the 8th inning. The Expos are leading the Cubs 5-3. Here again, Dave Van Horn. For our Expos now in the top of the 8th, it'll be Bob Bailey, Coco LeBoy, and Jose Herrera. Bailey is 3 for 3. Got a hit in the first, again in the fourth. Hit a home run in the fifth. His first home run of the year. Phil Reagan on the hill. The windup. End pitch. High inside, and Bailey has to bite the dust. 1 ball, no strikes. Bob had a word there for Randy Hundley. He said, now, Randy, tell me, he didn't mean that, did he? Here's the 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball left field going back. Williams going back. He can't get it. It's over the screen. A home run for Bob Bailey. Wow. Number 2 of the afternoon. And that ball disappeared in the haze here at Wrigley Field. Bob Bailey, 4 for 4, his second home run. First 2 of the season for Bob, and the whole Expos bench is up to greet him.
Holy moly, what a clout that was. Bob really tagged it over the deep side in left field, way up over the screen. Said thank you to Phil Reagan for that high pitch to his skull.
4 RBIs. LeBoy swings. Hard hit ball high in the air, but out to right center, and coasting over to make the catch is Jim Hickman. So LeBoy retired on the first pitch. 1 away. Well, it's now 6-3. That's a big run, that home run by Bob Bailey. And Bob really powered that ball, too. Ron Fairley says, how do you like that? I give the guy a chance to play. He goes 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. I'm going to get my swings in anyway. So here's Ron Fairley to bat for Jose Herrera, who is 0 for 3. Fairley up for the first time. Ron swings on the first pitch, pops it up. First base side, banks in on the edge of the infield grass, makes the catch. 2 down. Fairley retired on 1 pitch. John Boccabella will be the batter. John is 0 for 3. Struck out in the second, fly ball to right in the fourth, lined out to left in the sixth. Boy, I'll tell you, that home run by Bailey really put a hush over the fans here at Wrigley Field. 2 outs with nobody on. The pitch to John, swing and a foul, bounce back behind the plate. Strike 1. The right-hander delivers. Swung on, popped up. Hundley's off of the mask behind the plate. Casts the mask aside, makes the catch. Expos are through in the 8th. 1 run on 1 hit. Bob Bailey's second home run of the afternoon. No errors in the field and nobody left on base. The score now at the end of 7.5 here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Expos 6, the Cubs 3.
We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and the Expos have an extra run, thanks to Bob Bailey's second home run of the afternoon and his second of the season. It's now 6-3 for the Expos over the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th.
Ron Fairley has taken over in left field for Montreal. Adolfo Phillips in center, Rusty Staubs in right. The bottom third of the Cubs order here in the 8th. Hundley, Young, and then we'll probably get a pinch hitter. Randy Hundley is 1 for 3. Got a hit in the second off starter Wazlewski. Don Shaw delivers a strike. 0-1 to Hundley. Hundley struck out in the 4th and grounded out against Shaw in the 5th. The count is 0-1 to the Cubs catcher, Randy Hundley. Right-hand hitter. Don Shaw winds it up the pitch. Low outside, ball 1. Shaw came on in the 5th when starter Gary Wazlewski got in trouble. Cubs scored 2 runs in that inning. Got back in the ball game. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a hard hit ball high into the air, right center. Staub going back now. Rusty waiting under it, makes the catch. One away. The batter, Don Young. Young walked his first 2 times up, and then against Shaw was called out on strikes in the 6th. 1 out and nobody on. 6-3, the Expos leading the Cubs here on this final day of the long road trip. The first game of a scheduled doubleheader. Fastball low inside. Ball 1 to Young. Russ will have the scoreboard for you. Details on all the other games right after this one. Here's the pitch. Swung on and bounced foul over into the Chicago dugout behind third base. 1 ball, 1 strike. In spite of the fact that it's very hazy here, it's a little bit lighter right now than it was 30 minutes ago. Pitch is outside, 2 balls and a strike. Don Shaw has the sign. The windup and the pitch. Swung on. Fly ball, shallow center field. Going back, Sutherland backpedaling, back. He's got it. Gary going back quickly. Got out into shallow center field and made the catch. That is 2 away. The pinch hitter will be Ken Rudolph. Ken Rudolph, batting .111 on the year. He's appeared in only 9 games. Takes a low outside fastball from Shaw. 1-0. Looks like Dick Selma in the bullpen. I can't tell right now. Swing and popped up. Right side of the plate. Bacabella under it. Foul territory. John's got it. That's all for Ken Rudolph, and the Cubs are through in the bottom of the 8th. Shaw mowed him down 1-2-3 with nothing across, and as we go to the 9th, it's the Expos 6, the Cubs 3.
Well, for late tuners in, let's review the scoring in this ball game. The Montreal Expos took a 1-0 lead in the first inning. Adolfo Phillips, the leadoff man, singled, stole second, went to third when the throw by Randy Hundley to the bag was wild, and he scored on a single by Bob Bailey. The Cubs tied it up with 1 run in the second inning when Willie Smith homered over the left field fence into the bleacher seats. Then the Expos really went to town in their half of the 5th inning. Phillips led off with a walk. Rusty Staub singled, moving Phillips to third. Gary Sutherland hit a sacrifice fly, and Phillips came in to score. Bob Bailey hit a home run with Staub and Phillips aboard. With Staub and Phillips aboard, Wine was the one who came in on the sacrifice fly, and the Expos scored 4 runs in that half of the 5th inning. The Cubs came back in their half of the 5th with a pair of runs, and they got it this way. We'll recap more of that ball game a little later on, as we are going into the 9th inning, the top half of the 9th inning, and we have a new pitcher on the hill for the Chicago Cubs.
Dick Selma, right-hander, coming on now to pitch the 9th inning for Chicago. Dick Selma. He'll face Bobby Wine. The pitcher, Don Shaw, and Adolfo Phillips here in the 9th. The Expos leading 6-3. The first pitch to Bobby is high and outside, ball 1. Wine is 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles and a run scored.
Boy, he started that rally off for the Expos in the 5th inning with a double and scored on that single by Rusty Staub.
Selma looks down to Hundley. The pitch. High outside again, ball 2. 2-0. Expos have hit that ball well today. They've out-hit the Cubs 9-8, leading 6-3 here in the 9th. Selma's pitch, taken for a strike. 2-1 to Bobby Wine. Rich Nye, the Chicago starter, went 4 1/3 innings. Next pitch is right across the knees for a strike called. Count levels at 2-2. Russ, I guess the weatherman is wrong. Although it's dark and overcast, he had called for rain that should have started 45 minutes ago if he was right. Pitch low and outside, a full count to Bobby Wine now, 3-2. But he wasn't right, and we've got a good chance to get 2 in now. Wine swings and misses, strike 3. Bobby goes down swinging, and Selma logs a strikeout. That brings the pitcher, Don Shaw, to the plate. Don went down swinging in the 6th inning. Left-hand hitter. Selma deals, and here's a bouncer to Santo at 3rd. Up with it, the throw to Banks retires Shaw, 2 away. The Expos' big inning was the 5th, 4 runs on 3 hits. Bobby started it with his double. With 1 out, Phillips walked. Rusty Staub got a base hit, driving in Wine. Sutherland hit a sacrifice fly that scored Phillips. Bailey hit a home run to score Staub, and of course himself. The home run was off Abernathy. Adolfo Phillips, 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs scored. First pitch is low, a ball. Selma deals a fastball for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. You'll have a chance to meet the new members of the Expos team, including Adolfo Phillips, tomorrow at 12:30, Place Ville-Marie in downtown Montreal. So we hope there'll be a lot of fans out there. Make the newcomers as welcome as we did those who started with the club at the beginning of the year. A breaking ball that failed Selma takes the count to 2-1. 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the 9th. Phillips swings, lifts one high into the air down the left field line. It goes foul. Out of play. The count is 2-2. And then tomorrow night at 8:05, the bell rings on the homestand. The Cardinals and the Expos. In the first of 4 games. Phillips swings, pops this one up. Right around the plate. Hundley off of the mask, waiting, left side of the plate. He's got it. So Selma put the side down. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across in the top of the 9th. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Montreal 6, Cubs 3.
Fans, just to straighten out that 5th inning in our recap, here's how the Expos got their runs. Bobby Wine led off with a double, scored on a single by Rusty Staub. Phillips had followed with a walk. Staub and Phillips came in on the home run by Bob Bailey, his first of the afternoon. That's how the Expos picked up their runs in the 5th inning. They added another run in the 8th inning on a home run by Bob Bailey. The Cubs picked up their runs in the 5th inning. Don Kessinger grounded out, but Paul Popovich walked. Billy Williams singled. Santos singled in a run, bringing in Popovich. Ernie Banks singled in another run, bringing in Billy Williams. So that's the story on this ball game so far. It is 6-3 for the Expos over the Cubs as we go into the bottom half of the 9th inning. It's been a long road trip, but the Expos are really looking good toward the end of this road trip. They have posted 6 victories on the road, and they're not far from another one this afternoon. So as we go into the bottom half of the 9th inning, the nervy 9th, the first man up for the Cubs will be their leadoff man, Don Kessinger. Don Shaw in relief of Gary Weslewski, pitching well for the Expos. Take it away, Dave.
Well, the top of the order has been a little bit of trouble here for the Expos. Only 2 hits among the first 3 men in the order, 1 by Kessinger and 1 by Williams, but a total of 4 walks and 2 of the 3 runs scored. So Don Shaw's got to deal with Kessinger, Popovich, and Williams. First pitch to Kessinger was a ball. Don is ready. He deals. Kessinger takes it low, ball 2, 2-0. Kessinger walked in the first inning, flied to center in the second, grounded out in the fifth, and got his base hit in the sixth. He was stranded there in the sixth. Switch hitter batting right against the left-hander Shaw. The 2-0 pitch taken for a strike. Count is 2-1. They'll probably shorten the time between games a little bit, speed that second one along as quickly as they can. Here's the 2-1. Pitch is cut on right back to Shaw. He had to reach to his left. The throw to first is in time, and that's all for Kessinger. One away. Well, Gary Wasilewski went 4 1/3 innings, the starter, so Don Shaw's the pitcher of decision right now. Done quite a job. The pitch to Popovich. Strike called. Batting now from the other side of the plate against the left-hander Shaw. Popovich 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. 1 out, nobody on. Don deals low. A ball and a strike. 6-3, the Expos leading the Cubs, trying to make it 2 in a row over the Eastern Division leaders in the National League. Don again. Line drive up the middle, a base hit. So the Cubs are going to give it their best shot here in the bottom of the ninth, and now Don Shaw will have to face Billy Williams. That's the third hit off Don Shaw. The batter, Billy Williams, is 1 for 3 with a walk, a left-hand hitter. Williams almost hit 1 out in the first inning. He sent Staub almost to the wall down the right field line. Popovich takes his lead. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Boy, Williams was going for the fences. Outfield deep, few steps around to the right. Popovich leading off first. Shaw's pitch is just a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Billy Williams. The stretch. Now the pitch. A breaking ball is low and outside, ball 2. 2-1 to Williams. The Expos scored first in the first inning, and the Cubs tied it up in the second. Then the Expos went out in front with 4 runs in the fifth, and have been in front since then, leading 6-3 here in the ninth with 1 out and 1 on. Williams swings on the next one, lifts a lazy fly into shallow right field. It drops in front of Staub, and there are 2 aboard on the hit by Williams. Well, the Cubs have got something going. The batter will be Ron Santo. And Dick Raditz, the right-hander, is going to go to work in the Expos bullpen. Santo is 3 for 4 with an RBI. Popovich is at second, Williams at first with only 1 out. Santo, right-hand hitter. Shaw holds at the belt. The pitch, low, ball 1. Don having to really work now. Joining Dick Raditz is Roy Face in the Expos bullpen. 1-0 to Santo. Don holds at the belt, looks at the lead runner. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and a bounder right back to Shaw. He has it. The play is to first in time to get Santo for out number 2. Oh, a big play. The runners move up. Popovich going to third. Williams to second. Santo is out. Shaw to Bailey. And the batter will be Ernie Banks, who is 1 for 4. With 2 down in the bottom of the ninth, and the Expos leading 6-3. Banks steps to the plate. John Bacabella out to talk to Don Shaw. Shaw has faced Ernie Banks once. In the 7th inning, he got him on a fly ball to left. Banks got his hit and an RBI in the 5th of starter Gary Wozlewski. Right-hand hitter. Popovich at third, Williams at second. The pitch to Banks is low inside, ball 1. Don getting ready. Here's the pitch. Banks swings, and it's a hopper. It gets past Bobby Wine out into left field. Ernie Banks with a base hit and 2 runs score. A 6-5 ball game. Banks with RBIs number 61 and 62. The 3rd hit of the inning of Don Shaw. Popovich scoring from 3rd, Williams from 2nd. And the batter, Jim Hickman. And Banks gives way to a pinch runner and gets a standing ovation as he leaves the game. The batter will be Jim Hickman, right-hand hitter, with 2 outs in the 9th. The Cubs score a couple of runs to make it a 1-run ball game. 6-5. The stretch by Shaw. The pitch to Hickman. Low and inside. Ball 1. Rich Blatz is the runner, by the way, for Banks at first base. The stretch by Shaw. The 1-0. Taken low, ball 2 to Hickman. 2-0. Hickman steps out of the batter's box now, going over toward the batting circle. He gets the rosin bag. Looking to Pete Reeser, the coach, in the third base box. Chicago rallying here in the 9th. With that home run by Bailey. It was a big hit. 2-0 to Hickman. Shaw to the stretch. Looks at Blatt, the runner. Here's the pitch. Taken for a strike. 2-1. The outfield is deep and around to the left. LeBoy behind third, playing near the line. Wine right in the hole. The stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on. High fly ball, left field. Going back. It's a home run, and the Cubs win it. The Cubs win on a home run here in the bottom of the 9th, and the Expos are stunned. You'd swear the Chicago Cubs won the National League pennant. The players are going absolutely crazy. Wow. What a fantastic performance by the fans here at Wrigley Field, really cheering their players on that big blast by Jim Hickman. Ron Santo was going bugs in the outfield. He's just jumping up and down. Wow, are they going nuts? And the fans, they're delirious with joy.
as the Chicago Cubs, on a home run by Jim Hickman, win this ball game 7-6 with 2 outs.
2 outs in the ninth, and the Expos are in shock. A towering home run to left by Jim Hickman. The Cubs come from behind to win it 7-6 in the bottom of the ninth. What a dramatic finish here. And what a shock and what a blow to Don Shaw and the Expos. In the ninth, 4 runs on 4 hits. No errors, nobody left. The Cubs win it 7-6.